Welcome everybody to Dive Bar of Democracy. It's Friday night and we're doing it right. Are y'all ready to smash the fash? Tonight we have 3 topics. We don't know who our host or hostess will be. We don't know what those 3 topics will be. But we do know that there's only one way that we do it, and that's the fuck 'em fam way. Y'all ready to meet the gang? Let's do it, shall we? Oh shit. All right.
Hey.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Feeling pretty good. Living the dream.
Oh yeah, I think that well, you know, quite honestly, these last 7 days have been an absolute whirlwind of emotions. We went from just holding on to hope by a thread to leading in the polls. And also bringing in the biggest cash haul to date in modern political history. And it wasn't even by millionaires and billionaires. It was all strictly grassroots funded. And, you know, I mean, there's really something to be said that, you know, when we're given the option of hope, what can happen. And I don't know about y'all, but I've been riding the hopium high.
Yeah, it's so nice to not... Go ahead.
No, sir, go ahead, Vix. Yeah, you do it.
It's nice not to panic every moment of the day, or have that feeling in the back of the mind. It's like, oh dear God, don't let him fall and break a hip, or oh dear God, democracy might rise and fall whether he gets better from COVID or not. It's we love the man, we respect the man, we're so grateful for what he did for our country. But good Lord, this feels so much less anxiety inducing, having a younger, more healthier, vibrant candidate,
Well, I like to point out to MAGA that there's only...
that everyone is focused and, behind her, too. That's what's so cool about it.
I like to point out to MAGA there's only one mentally ill senior in the ticket now.
Only one adult brain.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, that's me.
Oh.
But I'm living for this energy right now. I mean, seriously, I'm just
absolutely. It's
beyond
thrilled. It has opened up new avenues for conversation and discussion.
Yeah.
She can now go there where other people couldn't go, and I'm all there for that, because I think that as much as the people will, how shall I say, formulate attacks on her, there's going to be wonderful opportunities to take those criticisms and turn them back. And that's what I think is wonderful about the next, 90 days, 100 days? Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, we got not only... Okay, so we not only have the Veep stakes that's going to come up and completely dominate the news cycle.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But also, after that, we got the DNC. And we got the culture.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have Kid Rock and Hulk Hogan. I don't even know who we're going to have. But I'm sure it's going to be lit.
That's exciting.
Because everybody...
Don't you think
everybody has this renewed sense of hope and energy.
Attending?
I mean,
yeah.
Just look at that last rally that happened in Atlanta for Harris. I mean, the energy was palpable.
That was lit.
And I guess they're bringing on the 2008 campaign strategist that got Obama over the line too. Chris Pluff, was it Chris? Chris Pluff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, not too bad at all, gang. It's a good way to start this week. because, like I said,
Very good.
we went from huh to now we're here, and it just keeps going because they just can't help themselves. Before we go any further into this, excuse me, beer is good.
I never heard a thing.
I think that we should reach into the chopper hopper and see who our host or hostess for tonight's going to be. Can I get a drum roll, please? Oh, shit. It's
Farley.
Scottish John.
Farley in the chat says that she really hopes that Kamala chooses Tim Walz, and Tim Walz was the guy who like basically gave us this narrative that we could use of the weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this was John's first topic. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yes, that is Fugatio Blow with his weird ass Trump blow up doll that he has.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
That's
Why
weird. That's what it is.
Oh,
It's
God.
fucking weird. And
That is weird.
I resent that you call him by that name. I think you should call him Forgetty Sucks.
for Fellatio Blow, I believe, is the name that
Forgetty Sucks.
Formaggio blow.
Before I
I don't
knew
wanna
how
know
it was
his actual
spelled, I was
name.
like, well, no, I don't either. But before I knew how it was spelled, I thought it was like 4G, like as in like cell phone service, and then like the word auto, and then the word blow. I was like, what the fuck is this?
I was just looking at his name. I was like,
mean
you know, me
4G
being in
auto
show
blow.
business, I'm like, who
I
willingly
think that's
chooses
what
this
4G
moniker?
Mm-hmm. Well,
It's weird, and I don't know. I appreciate that, like
They're all
you said,
valid.
Tim Walz gave us the gem of being able to use weird, because it's something we've all said at least at one time or another. We've looked at some weird shit, right, John? I mean, like,
They've given us so much to work with. I mean, the people that wear the diapers in solidarity with Trump are the ones with the maxi pads on their ears.
That's weird.
Or the ones with the pantyhose dicks coming off their nose. Or the ones standing in their front
Weird.
yard with their guns out in the middle of their neighborhood as people peacefully walk past them. I
Which is
mean,
a
it's
great
fucking
segue
weird.
into our first topic for the night, which is, of course, weird Republicans. And since you've
Weird
done it already,
Republicans.
let's talk amongst ourselves. How
That is
weird are
tautology.
I mean, there's the thing that I have discovered that is the weirdest about all of it is that how triggered that they get if you say anything bad against Trump.
Weird.
Like, even if you just say, you can say words that he said, and they will get weird on you. And the thing is they're always saying you're taking it out of context. That's always going to be the excuse. I mean, I could play you a million clips where it's MAGA saying you're taking it out of
He
context.
didn't mean it like that.
Well, you know what?
It is.
Every time that you bring up his words and you immediately dismiss it and say it's out of context, that's weird.
Yeah. And every time, conversely, where you take 4 seconds of Joe Biden speaking and don't show what he's talking about so that he looks senile, that's weird.
That's a
That's
good
weird.
point.
Yeah.
When you think about it, Trump mashes his words. He says things like Covfefe. How can we take him out of
Covfefe.
context when he says that?
Talks about
And then
sharks and Hannibal freaking Lecter.
exactly.
Late great
And then he
Hannibal Lecter.
Sorry,
it's-
the
yep,
late
he
great.
stands- Well, do you know what Anthony Hopkins said about him? I think
I heard the
the
AI
remarks
one,
were,
and I know there was the real one.
he basically said Donald said that about me. He said, "Goodness gracious, that's weird." I'm paraphrasing. He said, that's weird. So, when the man who acts as Hannibal Lecter tells you that someone else is weird, you should pay attention.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yep.
And he is a strange dude, and he acted like a strange dude. So he's calling you strange, son. You got problems.
I mean, the thing is I believe I can't find it right away, but it said something like when Tim Walls used the word weird, but he's a nice folksy Minnesotan. What he actually means is, what in the honey roasted strange fuck is this?
Yeah. I'm gonna find that. Yeah. Holy shit.
Wonderful.
But
Wonderful.
there is another overriding question, right, guys? When we talk about weird and we talk about Republicans, we've got examples all over.
Yeah.
Are there any non-weird Republicans out there? I don't know who they are.
Actually,
Like
There's some that
Kinzinger,
don't act
like-
publicly weird.
like
Okay.
Yeah, he's not
Kinzinger's
weird.
not weird. I mean, he's still a Republican, so but
But he
He's
endorsed
not
Biden
weird.
and Kamala, so
yeah,
He did
I mean, he's
already?
not weird.
yeah.
Good.
Who else? Romney.
It's a
Don't get
short
me
list.
wrong.
Chris Christie isn't weird.
Yeah, Chris.
Not
well,
really.
Well, Chris Christie, Bridgegate. I mean, that was pretty weird.
Yeah, but
that was pretty weird.
that's not like weird.
Yeah,
That's
not like the
MAGA
whole.
weird.
Yeah, exactly. It's not wearing diapers. in public.
Yeah, like there's a difference.
Or joining a trucker convoy.
Yeah.
Just
Only
cause.
eating the liberal oven blue bags.
I just want to
Well,
clarify, just so
Or
you know.
reading
Oh,
erotic literature on the Senate floor.
We're going
Or homoerotic literature.
Or going to the grassy knoll in Dallas because you swear he's coming back from the dead and he's gonna be there today.
That's
Weird
weird.
shit.
You know
what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
weird.
Remember when
Really
they did
weird.
that?
Stupid.
Oh my god.
Friendo Mew raised a good point too when they're mentioning in the chat. It's like, is Chris Christie the same candidate? Really? No, because he shut down beaches and then brought his family out there to enjoy the beach. As a governor, that's a weird thing. Just want to point that out.
That's a dickhole thing. That's not.
It
That's
is.
not really
It
weird though.
absolutely is. He closed
it's
the
not weird,
bridges
that's-
and then he brought his family out. That's if he's criticizing everyone else for being weird, he's got a lot of questions to answer. That's all I'm saying.
Michael Steele. Michael Steele's not a weird Republican. I can give him.
No, he's not weird.
Yeah. He in fact, he's against the weird.
Yeah.
Like,
So we got Mike Steele.
and the thing that's
And-
that's so. Let's go ahead and just beat this word to death this episode. The thing that's so weird about it is getting mad
taking notes,
at
by the way.
being
Yeah.
called weird. That's weird. Like, I guess the thing is because fascists demand to be feared. That's why they do what they do. That's why, the neo-Nazis march around with their faces covered and everything is because you're supposed to fear them. But when you just like, what the fuck is this pan-fried fuckery? Like,
That's it. That's it. That's it. They
So-
hate weird.
Yeah.
They
Deep
hate the
fried
weird
double
thing
batter.
because we don't fear them. It shows. It's like it's the true. It's what they can understand as mockery. Like they finally understand we're mocking them, and if you call them a racist, they can say, "Oh, you're afraid of me." They can turn almost anything we say into "You're afraid of me."
Yeah.
But when you say you're weird, that's mocking, condescension. When you're weird, you're not feared. Oh, put down.
Yeah.
It's disarming. We disarm them with it.
Yeah, we disarmed them unintentionally.
well,
I think you've raised a good point. I think actually the title for Project 2025 goes along those lines. Feared,
It's weird.
Isn't
not weird.
it, isn't it weird that they all sat down together and had little committee meetings, little like brunches? You know, they were like writing shit on whiteboards, and then they like typed it out, and they had assignments and shit. You know,
they had color-coordinated dry erase markers.
I'm sure
too.
like relationships were lost over long work hours over Project 2025.
I hope so.
Started.
I hope so.
Affairs started.
I hope to God that marriages were ruined, and I hope that the spouses of the people that were working on Project 2025 got away from the monsters that they were married to that worked on Project 2025, because it's fucking horrific and inhumane. I wouldn't want to be married to a person that championed that 900-page dumpster fire. No, thank you.
And they think firing Paul Dans is going to make everybody go, no. Project 2025 is no longer associated with
I think
Donald Trump.
And we know that all those affairs that were started were probably with guys, all guys cheating on their wives with their because they crashed Grindr.
The Grindr app definitely got used.
Yeah, they were meeting up at the RNC and
Ted Cruz is totally weird.
Don't get us wrong. We're not yucking anybody's yum. You know, have your fun. Just don't try to, deny the humanity of others while you're engaging in the same kind of things.
It's the hypocrisy. Yeah, it's the hypocrisy of, playing God Bless the USA in the background while all you hear is belt buckles dropping in the hotel rooms.
Clink, like that clinking.
They just shouldn't be hypocrites. That's the thing.
We got to get that on the soundboard.
It is kind of strange, isn't it? When you think about it, Republicans didn't stage their convention in the Vatican. They staged it in Milwaukee. Staged it in Chicago.
Of all places.
If they were Puritans, it would be in the Vatican. Let's meet in Italy, Roma, 2024. But they didn't do that because no fun.
No fun zone.
Powerful thought. You could have staged it in various states in the continental United States, which were also no fun because that's where they set their policies. But what they wanted to do was go have fun in a place that didn't have their policies. Something to think about.
I see what I'm picking up what you're putting down. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why have it in a red state when you can't have any fun? Your mistress can't have an abortion, but
Can you still have abortions in Wisconsin if a staffer gets knocked up when you're at a convention?
Yeah, you could. Wisconsin's pretty blue,
isn't it? Yeah.
No, Wisconsin has some restrictions, don't they?
But not like
Against
any of the red
Kyle Rittenhouse,
states.
maybe?
It's like, I think it's like 20 weeks is the limit. Like it's.
I know Iowa this last week, their stricter abortion ban went into effect. I think Monday. So now instead of having up until 20 weeks to get, a medical abortion, they have till 6 weeks.
I think all of that is deplorable, and I really hope that when we have stronger candidates leading the country and the states and shaping decisions, that more people will see the light and repeal these heinous, pejorative, discriminatory laws that make women second-class citizens. Yeah.
Also, wanting to control women is just weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Fucking weird. It's like, what, you can't get a lady to stay with you because of your charm and personality? You want to get rid of no-fault divorce so they can't escape you if it turns out that you're a fuckstick?
Well, I mean, if you look at Project 2025, it's pretty much them trying to reinstate Lebensborn, so they're going to be able to make sure that they only have the country populated with what they think is the appropriate kind of people. So,
with the right kind of genetics.
Yeah. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's just another thing that they're, the Fashkant original that they're trying to rip out from that playbook too. What are they going to start doing? Fucking handing out medals if you give more than 4 kids, like the Nazis fucking did?
Like the Nazis, yeah. Literally
Well,
did.
Trump talked about, having a baby boom and handing out baby bonuses for people that had kids.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Mhm.
And Elon Musk is obsessed with, making sure that the planet is, populated and stuff. That's why he has like 12 children who all hate them. I mean, hate him. Sorry,
Yeah.
didn't mean to misgender the bigot.
Don't you think it's strange about his particular comments on that subject where he mentioned dead naming his own child, and yet ironically he's the guy who dead named Twitter? It's a weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. For him to pull
There
that
are
out of the hat,
He's weird.
yeah, there's a lot of irony there.
The really funny thing
Yep.
is that the RNC, they had no problem calling him Hulk Hogan. It's almost like how they understand how people go by other names. Speaking of weird, how weird is it that not only Kyle Rittenhouse had to retract back and say that he supports Donald Trump because he stood up against him saying the shit about the Second Amendment, and the cult came after him, and, the whole when you lie down with dogs, you wake up with fleas situation. Like, he knew these are the people that will stab you in the back faster than anything just to get a little bit ahead, because there's no altruism when it comes to, well, for lack of a better word, extreme nationalists. I think it's absolutely hilarious, though, that, the whole idea of comeuppance, because he waffled at first and then the cult put him back in line, and just that little bit of waffling, it shows that everybody is in it for themselves when it comes to being oriented around the idea of the MAGA cult and all of its fucking weirdness.
And he only stepped out for 12 hours, but I guarantee you they're not going to forget that.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All it takes is one time. Like, if you dedicate yourself to that horse shit, all you have to do is show disloyalty one time. I think John's frozen.
Or he's taking a nap. Look at him. He looks so peaceful.
No, he's
Yeah.
tuckered out.
I was waiting for him to finish his. It's like he looked like he was gonna say something, so I was like,
Yeah,
he's frozen.
I've been waiting. I'm like,
He's having one of those, he's not sleeping, he's praying moments.
Yeah, he's great. He's 100%
Your God
praying
can't
now.
help you now, John.
Yeah, funny how that goes, isn't it? Damn.
where's your God now?
Yeah,
Hop back in. Your camera's off.
someone clearly wanted to send me a message
There we
today,
go.
and
No.
that's why we want to vote for Kamala Harris, kids. Evil people kick you off the internet.
Blame the
God
Russians.
and damn. And God bless America.
It's the Russians. It's okay.
Yep.
And
So what did I miss? Did everyone award the prize of $100 to the best speaker?
well, what we actually
Go ahead.
were probably about to bring up was what we were talking about when we first touched on it, and I think more than likely there's no way we can get through this without pointing out the fact that Donald Trump shit the bed and then rolled in it at the NABJ.
Oh, God, that was awesome.
When? What? Oh, shit the bed at the NABJ.
Yeah, I mean, he dug his own grave hard.
You
That
He
was-
just kept digging.
When you
think
said it, I was
That's
thinking of a
hilarious.
scene from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when
I was thinking of Train Spotting.
Who shit the bed
when
episode?
Frank shits the bed, or there's the poop in the bed.
Yeah, the Who Shit the Bed episode.
Yeah, who shit the bed?
Oh, and Artemis comes in.
Huh?
Oh, so great.
The episode.
So how far did you guys cover the any?
I mean,
Not gonna
honestly,
say
there's really
anything today, but,
what else is there to say other than he showed his true colors to the people that he's trying to woo to vote for him, and they ask him the direct question, "Why should black voters vote for you after all the trash that you said?" And they only merely
Beautiful.
she only merely repeated his words back to him, and he had to play victim.
It was
Yep.
delicious.
It was delicious.
Delicious.
It was so
Oh,
delicious.
succulent, juicy, every moment of his discomfort.
But if I could,
came out.
yeah, go ahead, Tara.
Really?
I think you were going where I was going to go.
Like just put the
Yeah.
shit hook on him like vaudeville.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the hook
You're
was
mean.
I was waiting for
You're
that
30
one.
minutes late.
It drags him off, and you can hear him saying, "I need to get my shoes."
I mean, he even got Harris Faulkner, the person who's there to make him be able to have a semblance of padding in this interview. He even made Harris Faulkner go, "Oh my goodness," when he said that comment
Yeah.
about Kamala.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I think there was a new
She
expression you
turned.
can
She
use.
made a turn, and now she's black. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
One
You've
day
never
she just
heard of
woke
a
up and she was
biracial
black.
person? Like, she turned, and he said it like his condescending way. She turned black. Like,
I'm like, wow.
No.
Yeah, like the way he says it, like it like you can hear that he's used to using
The
the N-bomb,
disdain.
just like his relative said in his book. Like that's pretty bad when your family comes
he's gonna
out.
slip up.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm just
He's
waiting
gonna slip up.
just one day it's gonna happen because
He's at that unhinged level now
Mhm,
where
mhm.
he's gonna slip, and
he'll just double down on it, and Mago
I mean,
will
I
be
don't
like,
want-
"Yay!" And then like any of the people who actually are any kind of I suppose minority, and they
It was out of
support
context.
Donald Trump, they will say that it was out of context. Exactly. Be like, but he used the N-bomb. Yeah, well, they do it in rap songs all the time. You're like, okay.
Who does? Other white people?
But I'm
Oh,
trying
thanks,
to
Doc.
understand how, in the grand scheme of things, someone asserting themselves as one thing over another thing is bad. That's the first problem we have with what he says. And then, of course, I think the second thing is that asserting that you're any of these things is not bad.
Oh,
It's like,
and
so why did he sit there and say, well, they changed their spots? Really?
yeah, and let's not forget about him saying that he was late and blaming it on them and their audio issues, saying that they have subpar equipment and
you have
using the
bad
trope of being
equipment.
late and
Yes,
using the
they're
trope
awful.
of being late. But the worst part was the whole deal. Why wait? Why were they late? Because they wanted to fact check him, and he's like, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's why, in the end of the grand scheme of things, they were promised an hour with Donald Trump. And after the contentious exchange at the very outset that led on, they only managed, and stopping the clock at this point, 36 minutes.
36.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Before
okay.
his staff
I would have with him.
said, Donald, time
I'm
to
surprised
go.
he lasted that long.
You gotta go now.
Yeah,
You gotta
right?
go now.
Yeah.
Bye, Donald. Bye.
And as soon as they mentioned
whoever
Project
set up that
2025, they did get the shit hook out. Like they got the shit hook out like post heat, like
His own team.
post haste.
was like,
And it was like, okay, that's enough. That's enough damage.
And I think that's part of the problem right now. For every PR conversation, speech, and anything else that they're on notice for at this point, Donald Trump is going to have it used against him. And they're wakening up to this. They may not be able to control whether someone invites them to a conference and doesn't hold into account, doesn't fact check, but they have to assume that everyone who does call them out for an interview or an appearance right now is going to fact check. And everything he says wrong is going to be held against him right up to the moment of the election and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't take that. And I think they're aware of it, because they did 36 minutes into a promised hour, and then they said, no, we're not doing that anymore. And they, to use the inappropriate expression, they did yank him off.
Well, he
And he
didn't
was
think
not
he
happy
was going to
about it.
get any pushback. And he, like, you know, I mean, he's used to everywhere that he goes to. It's Mr. President this, Mr. President that. And the moment that he gets any pushback, he immediately has to go into Roy Cohn 101 and play the victim.
Yes, these are questions that no one has ever asked a president like me. These are questions that no one has ever asked anyone who's done so much for the ethnic community as me. And I'm being charitable.
More than Abraham Lincoln, remember? That's what he said.
Absolutely.
Oh my God! I was like, sir,
And
you'll
he's the
never
most
be a
persecuted one,
One of-
including Lincoln as well. He's the most persecuted president.
Well, one of the
Did
best
you approach
things.
him with tears in your eyes when you called him sir? Clear on this.
Right?
People need to
Well,
know
one of the
that.
best things that they laughed at him. They laughed at this clown. They didn't. They laughed at him when he said stupid shit like "I'm the best president for black people since Abraham Lincoln." They laughed at him. Like they're like,
Oh, totally.
and that's
And
the
he hates
best
being
way.
laughed at and made fun of.
Yeah. Well, because fascists cannot stand being laughed at. Like, I mean,
Nope.
fucking, it was him getting clowned at the correspondence dinner is why we ended up getting him as president.
Or him getting laughed at at the UN.
Oh yeah, that was
Exactly.
great.
Assembly.
It's like I wasn't expecting that
you're
response.
100%
Well, of course you weren't.
Yes.
And he stood on the podium and he said, I wasn't expecting that reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Yeah.
We all were.
We
We seen
yeah.
that one coming. No
Well,
one has done anything for everyone more than we did in the first years of office.
Well, we were discussing this earlier, and
What did you do? Yeah.
he talks in extremes only because for a very, very specific reason. Just cannot allow any sort of middle ground, no kind of neutrality, because nuance is there, and the absence of nuance is tyranny. So that's why it's either he has the best of all time, Joe Biden has the worst of all time. He's never done anything better. No one's ever done anything better than him. Like, because you have to prove him wrong with nuance. And then it's when you're trying to prove him wrong with that nuance is where they can get you with all their weird little sophist tricks that they try. And now we call them weird.
And this is where we prove, kids, that weirdness coexists with all the bad things that Skip just said.
Well, when conservatives say that they are the standard bearer of what's normal and good and right in this world, and when you tell them that they're the weird ones, that really fucks them up, because they're like, no, you're the weird one because I said that. Like, I'm the one who's always paying attention to like genitals, so you're weird. The fuck?
Yeah, you're
I feel like this is
generals.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this is the only thing so far that's like pierced their bubble and is continuing to pierce the bubble. So keep it up. If you're listening to this, keep it up. Keep calling them weird. Keep like associating weirdness with their actions and the things that they do. Please do that. Please do that.
No.
Yeah, it's.
You know what
weird.
else was weird? Oh, so whoever set up that stage for that interview did us such a huge favor, because they set it up in a way where he couldn't hear shit, and he kept like, I can't hear you. What was that? And looked like such an old man.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's
I would like to point out one thing, Skip, if you don't mind.
Yeah, what's that?
If Joe Biden had been there, he would have handled it so much better.
Well, I mean, he was able to go into a
man.
black church and speak, and it actually had black people in it,
Yes,
as opposed to full of MAGA. And, I mean, whether it's happy holidays or drag queens or LGBTQ or, fucking people's genitals, the
Yes, sir.
the amount of weird, it's you can
The genitals.
It's always with the genitals. And the thing that's really strange is that if you look at any of these reactions when conservatives are being called weird, the first thing they do is go to like genitals. They're like, yeah, well, we're not the ones cutting off kids. But it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. The first thing you go to is that, and that's weird.
And we're not
Yeah.
doing it, by the way.
Yeah.
We're not cutting kids' genitals off.
Like saying that people
It's
are
weird that
having
you think that.
elective abortions at 9 months and then saying that they're even like committing infanticide after the baby is born is weird.
Yeah, it's weird that they haven't done a simple Google search to see the statistics on that, because it would be easily disproven. That's weird.
Mhm.
They have all the information in the world, but in their little rectangle in their pocket, won't fucking use it. That's
Who would have
weird.
thought such a simple thing would have been the kicker? Like, I would have, if you had asked me like 2 years ago, hey, what's MAGA going to be super upset about? Like, what name, like, what thing is they're going to get the. Calling them weird would have been last. I don't even think it would have
Yeah.
made it on my list of like
Yeah.
things that they would get offended over.
Mm.
Trump's a felon.
It's
Meh.
like,
Trump's a rapist.
yeah.
Big deal. Trump is trying to end democracy. Whatever, loser. Trump's weird. How dare you, you inhumane asshole!
Oh,
What?
I'm excited to bring back the phrase "sad, strange little man."
Oh,
sad,
Sad,
weird
I-
little man.
I do kind of think that this whole context of conversation is this sad little man. And we should probably have like a Wednesday meeting where we devote our time to this guy specifically. I think that's we could have a whole hour about that and make ourselves feel better at the same time.
Very noble of you. Very
That's
noble.
up to the leadership. Yeah, I could enjoy that daily rant, and I think that based on it, the things that everyone says, we're for it.
We
But
could have like a midweek drink at the dive bar.
Yeah.
I
That sounds
agree.
Oh, happy hour.
Day drinking. Day drinking
ma'am.
at the dive bar.
Hey, drinking.
Yeah.
Yes.
With a pinata,
Talking.
so we can batter to death the issue of the week. Make us feel better.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. I
Yes.
will pay for the first pinata. I don't know where it will be, but I'll do that.
With possible
We could call
karaoke
it-
party afterward.
We could
Yes,
call
talk to the boss afterwards. Yeah.
it. Yeah, we'll talk to her.
I,
We could call it the weekly heater, or the midweek heater, or something. Or
I
whatever.
agree.
You know,
I agree. Yes. I think that'd be great.
A good
Realistically,
steamer.
we just started to
realistically, with the
release
volume
on
of
Tony's
shit that's going
show.
on, we kind of do need something.
Well, we just started to
Yeah.
release on
Yeah.
Tony's show, you know, like this week in weird. So
This week in weird.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. There's already
God bless
one.
Tony. He has had
Weirdo of the week.
Well, I mean,
plethora to choose from.
the thing is, there's always
Day happy
some
hour.
new weird fucking thing. Like,
And the weirdo doesn't have to be someone famous in politics. It could be any like sometimes there'll be some MAGA, like, with a cock and balls made out of pantyhose on their face.
what
That would be
is
a good
up with
example.
that? That is so weird.
As long as it's not me. Yeah. Oh, that woman. Yes.
You know,
I
Go
can't
as-
share images, but we'll take
I'm gonna
it for
go
granted
as
that the
her
audience
for
knows what we're
Halloween.
talking
Oh, it's so weird.
or Fellatio blow up doll.
Fellatio blow up
We
doll.
should-
Like I'm surprised he hasn't
Big
marketed
asshole.
that shit.
Gotta
Right? Like, but
I
he
am.
had a
Where's
blow
that?
up doll of Donald Trump.
Are you coming up or not?
We gotta market that because people would buy it.
The fellatio
about.
doll.
Can
But
you-
then if you
So much
Googled
money off
that,
these
like I don't
rules.
think the MAGA
So,
guy would be
that's
the first thing to
that's like
come
a
up. He
digression.
thinks
If you could market it, what would you call it?
weird.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes,
Elon's
definitely. Number one,
girlfriend.
weird.
Elon's weird girlfriend.
Oh, ouch.
okay. So just the face I just made and the sound I just made. That's what we would call it. Just
If it was JD, it'd be like only couches or something like only
Oh,
sofa.
I'm Sorry,
Experiments.
what's his name? It's CF Vance.
Vladimir
Couch Fucker
Futon or something like.
Vladimir
They make-
Futon, Couch Fucker.
The country's
Okay.
in recline.
Oh.
That wins for me. Yes, ma'am. You win that one.
Oh, shit.
hmm
See, they already make blow-up couches, so JD's happy.
The country is in recline, and I'm the only one that can poof up the cushions. Yeah, that
But
worked
do
good.
they make the blow-up couch with the pussy in it?
Remember, before he could afford a real couch, he paid for inflatable ones. That's what we expect.
If
I can't
JD
prove it.
walks into Value City Home Furniture, is it like the orgy scene in Caligula?
Pretty much.
If Caligula did furniture stores, absolutely 100%.
There's the armor.
Mhm.
No, he would probably wear the armor.
Yeah,
Come
you're
to
right. probably would.
Caligulas, we promise you will be
Maybe
happy.
he started out as like a waterbed,
Mhm.
thing, and then he, turns over to the couch,
Kids, I just want to say for the
The
audience
armchair
tonight,
gets.
this originally started out at the beginning of the week as a couch potato joke. These wonderful people have evolved. It's so much more than that. Enjoy the humor.
Well, just like Pringles potato chips, once you pop, the fun don't stop.
Absolutely.
I
Lord.
think that's what it was. I think that's what, because it just, you keep coming with them. Like, just jokes kept, and they were still funny for a week. Like, rarely is a joke held on to that long. But, all right, so just when I wake up and I was going to go to Twitter, the couch jokes, they got to be done. It's getting old. And then somebody comes up with, the country's definitely in recline. And I'm like,
There's much more cushion for that pushing.
there's more
Doing all week.
cushion.
And the thing is because Trump's a fucking complete addicted to the media. You know that every single time that he looks and he sees JD Vance in the word couch right beside it, he looks at his sons and he's like, "Who did you pick for me?"
He's regretting his
They will
choices right now.
He will blame when he loses, he will forever blame his kids for his loss, even though probably just helped the loss along a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He will forever blame them every day.
He
Every
helped
time he
his own
looks
loss
at
every
him.
time, yeah.
Those kids need to
Every time
realize
he
that
opens
no
his
matter
mouth.
what they do, they're not going to make that man happy ever.
Ever, yeah.
No, nothing
Ever.
will. Too much is not enough. You know what I mean?
And I'd feel sorry for them if they weren't complete douchebags and trying to wreck the country with
Are
Trump.
you talking about Vance's kids or are you talking about Trump's kids?
Trump's kids.
Trump's kids.
Oh yeah, they're already approved wackadoos. They're
No,
just
they're the
there
ones
for
who they're the ones who suggested Vance.
Yeah, no, Vance's kids are little. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
don't wish anything on them.
I'm
I
just
hope they
waiting
live.
to see Don Jr. and Eric on a chaise lounge with a gun and something else, and that will confirm it for me. And that
No
thing under their butt cheeks is always going to be JD Vance. CF Vance. Sorry, you're right.
Thank
Vix.
you. Thank you.
My apologies.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think the one of the things that really got into high gear was the when Tony released that press statement that was we were not sure where it came from or what genius
I have
maybe
no
would
idea who would write such a thing.
who would write
Really?
such
Did
You
that?
don't know.
such
I have no idea who did that.
gated
Very
misinformation.
Very disappointed in them.
Can I ask a question along the same lines? I haven't been paying attention to the issues as much, but I think it's a good question to ask you and ask the audience. Does an extended warranty on a sofa cover psychological counselling and trauma support? So if you get a sofa and he messes that thing up, does the sofa get counselling? Do they get trauma support? And how long does that last?
just need to make sure, in the same way that the bank protects my
Do
money with
this.
FDIC, that I know if I buy a couch that it wasn't
I
pre-fucked
did.
by JD Vance.
Right. Yeah. Does it come
Like a certified pre-owned type of a thing.
Yeah.
Where like it goes through all the checks. They went over it with a black light and all the nooks and crannies. Just
Yeah.
to check, you know, and
So what you're
went
saying
and
is,
smelled it.
If the order's
They
100
had,
days,
like,
same
the
as
100
cash, is that
point
like a mail
inspection,
order bride?
and they checked all those 100 points like this. Yep. And they did
Mm-hmm.
that, and they checked this, and they
They kept pulling out these gloves that were various degrees of soggy or crunchy.
Yeah, exactly.
When you find couch,
That's
when you find change in between your cushions, that's JD Vance leaving cab fare.
Oh, but all the coins are stuck together.
So kids,
Oh.
I want to say to the audience right now, if you can come up with really good JD Vance jokes along the couch theme, we're all sitting here to listen to them. So you can join the Tony Michaels room, you can chat with every one of us, and give us your best sofa joke for JD Vance. I mean, CF Vance.
We are
I
here
extend
for
that
your
cordial
sectional
invitation
healing.
to all of you. If you're not there already, join up, sign up, and hit us with your best shot. Oh wait, that's another story entirely. We're not talking about Pennsylvania, but we are going to talk about, and I think this is what you wanted to do, was talk about Biden jobs.
In fact, I think you're absolutely correct. We actually have a bit of a visual reference to help us. Look at that.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh, look.
That's
Joey Jobs.
Ain't that something? Ain't that something?
I want to vote for that guy.
Gotta love,
Wait,
gotta
can't
love to see
anymore.
it.
I'm going to
It's the
re-elect
dark
him.
Brandon
Oh, wait a
economy,
minute.
baby.
Yeah.
I'd re-elect that guy. Oh shit, never mind.
Right.
But even
Who's that one down the bottom
I'll go back to show the bottom. I think I know who it
with
is.
the negative?
Yeah, but enough about JD Vance.
Yeah. What kind of an idiot would be negative during their presidential term? Like, who would suck that much to lose
Who
that many
would-
jobs? And
Oh,
yeah, that guy.
Oh.
But it's
The guy
okay.
that touted himself as this great businessman. That
He's
Yeah,
running
that
again?
guy.
It's funny how it works, isn't it, kids? Because Donald also claimed in the NABJ interview yesterday that someone else had killed more Americans than him.
That's interesting.
oh, Rittenhouse, right?
He did.
Wait,
So,
was that a real one or was that AI?
in addition to jobs, which he's bad at, he also criticised us for fatalities, and that other people had more fatalities than him. As I recall, statistically speaking, during his administration, there were 700,000 deaths. 700,000 Americans. That's a bad statistic.
Mhm.
And in that conference yesterday, he claimed someone else had, I think, don't quote me, I may be reading a quote from something else, but he claimed that someone else had more death statistics than him. So-
That's interesting. It wasn't Abraham Lincoln or Hannibal Lecter?
Apparently
No.
no.
The
That's
late great
interesting.
Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah,
you mean.
right.
Late and great.
Said Gorka. Gorka.
World's greatest
The
Hungarian.
guy with the last name Sanchez.
Yes.
Oh God.
Seb Gorka is what happens when you order a James Bond villain from Wish.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is what happened.
Gorka. My name is Seb Gorka.
But when we talk about things like jobs, on top of all of this, I don't know how you guys feel, but we're at a hiring boom. Eventually, it has to stop. But during the Biden administration, we are in a hiring boom. People are how should we say, gainfully employed, statistically speaking. There is less unemployment now than there has been for a very long time. As much as Republicans want to claim that it's different, it really isn't. The stats speak for themselves.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter whether there is good
People
jobs
are
or bad
making
jobs.
more.
Yes.
MAGA is having a hard
Absolutely.
time gaslighting numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't
And
have
like, I know the
statistics to hand.
last.
Yeah.
My anecdotal evidence, which is anecdotal for a reason, but the last 2 times I went with my daughter shopping. We're not going to talk about the Target visit. That's it's Target. The other 2 times I even said out loud, wow, I was expecting it to be a lot more. And it wasn't just groceries I was buying. She's starting school in next week, so we're buying like clothes at groceries with
Mhm.
clothes and school
Yep.
supplies and all this stuff. And I was like shocked that it was like under, like, I was expecting it to be well over $200 and it was like 150. So I was
That's
like,
great.
Nice.
wow. I budgeted a lot more for that haul. But we're not going to talk about Target. That was
I was going to say,
Okay.
if it wasn't for inflation, you could have gotten more than 2 burgers from McDonald's in recompense with your savings. Back in the day, you could have got 4 burgers. You can only get 2 now. So what you gain
in college, they
burger
used to have
spending-
29-cent cheeseburger day on like Tuesdays or Wednesdays.
Funny enough, somebody
days
sent
are
me a
long gone.
clip of Chris Sununu on, of all places, The View. And one of the things he
I hate
brings
that
up
dude.
in the world of inflation,
It
quote
rhymes.
unquote, is that he
Mhm.
says that a family of 4 can't go to McDonald's for under $50. And you know what? That's not the president's fucking fault. I hate to say that, but that's
No.
McDonald's fault.
This is
Yeah.
true. The president doesn't tell them what prices to set.
You
They
can-
set their own prices.
Or
You
how
can
big
make
a
your own
bonus
damn
is to give
hamburger
their
at
CEO.
home.
We have
That
McDonald's
tastes
at
way
home,
better
kids.
for way less than
Mm-hmm.
just
Right out of
saying.
curiosity.
Like,
But like,
McDonald's
yeah,
is gross.
I mean, it's not my fault that,
Yeah.
because corporations know that they can price gouge and get away with it and call it inflation, that
Yes,
I'm-
sir.
not our fault.
Correct. A president can set policy that determines general characteristics and parameters. Notice I'm putting on my Snopes face right now and doing a fact check.
Uh-oh.
Presidents can't set prices for individual corporations. They cannot set gas prices. And there are various other elements of the economy that they can't specifically fix a price for. Thank you for listening. Next
Hey,
time you
gang,
get upset about
for
this,
any
talk to the
Republicans
boards
who
of
might come
directors.
across this, why don't we also talk about things that the president can't set?
Absolutely. That one I will defer to you. But Biden's done his best to create the climate that's necessary for encouraging jobs. And so far, that's been a raging success, no matter what Republicans say about it. More people have more jobs that are officially reported during the Biden administration than at any other point in American history. And that's
Yep.
something to be proud of.
Very.
Thank you, Mr. Biden.
Yeah. He's good.
Mm-hmm.
He's good leader. He knows his shit, and he's getting shit done. And I just hope he just goes at the door. He just goes.
I'm hoping when he goes out the door, he says,
You know how
I
every
pardon my
president.
son. I pardon my son.
I think he realized that he could get more done unburdened by having to run again in these
Yep.
next few months.
absolutely.
Could in another 4 years.
Hell
So he
yeah.
was just like,
Well,
foot down, let's go.
while also
Stick his balls
Kamala
to the wall.
is breaking what his polls were and his
Yes, sir.
fundraising
Yeah.
simultaneously.
Yes, he is.
He's still taking care
Yeah.
of business while she is out. I mean, he's literally made it so that he has a stellar record that she doesn't really have to defend, because every time that the Republicans bring up the border bill, it's like, well, y'all motherfuckers sunk it, and if you say that you didn't, why did Langford need to be threatened if that's not the case? And the other thing is she doesn't have to play defense. All she has to do is prosecute this case, which I'm sure that's honestly why Biden tapped her in. He's like, I mean, I can take care and keep the home fires burning. You go fucking take a big wet bite out of his ass on television, because everybody's been waiting for it.
Absolutely.
It would be glorious.
Equally,
I was just going to say quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
On that, while we're talking about Biden's accomplishments, let's not undercut what he just achieved this week with the negotiations to get those hostages released. That's
brilliant. Yeah.
Huge.
Brilliant.
And it's slipped by the wayside because of all the gaffes and bullshit, but that was going to be one of his running points.
Do you want to talk more about that?
Hostages.
Well, that man worked some diplomatic magic, did he not?
He's a ninja.
That's why you should be nice to your allies.
That's right.
Because he needed allies to get them all out. Well, those out.
It was Olaf Scholz of Germany who said, "I'll do this for you."
He did, and it was also...
He released a murderer. In his own backyard for Biden. That's some trust. I
mean, that dude walked up in Germany in a park and just shot someone and got on a bicycle and pedaled his happy ass away.
I think they would be glad to get rid of certain people, but reading between the lines in the news articles this week, it's also clear that what happened was that President Erdogan of Turkey was the principal author of this approach. He was one of the ones that arranged everything initially and made the overtures. So, as much as people are saying that Trump might have been betrayed by Putin, I think it's safer to say that what Putin did in terms of agreeing to this and working towards getting all these people exchanged is that Putin decided that the gains and the political stock was better achieved through working with President Erdogan of Turkey as opposed to President Trump. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Former President Trump, 34 convicted felonies, etc., etc.
So far.
Also likely to potentially be voting from jail if he's allowed to vote. But I'm not taking it personally. So...
speaking of that,
politically speaking...
The September 6th, the Jan 6th case, sorry. It's getting things confused these days. There's a whole lot. Because there's the sentencing and But the Jan 6th case got moved back to Tanya Chutkan's court.
Well, that was the one that was under appeal. Because there's the DC case as well as the Georgia case, but the DC case was under appeal under whichever circuit it was, and it was basically denied and sent back to Chutkan to undergo proceedings as planned.
It got sent down from SCOTUS.
Yeah. Well, as per their ruling.
Yeah. Do we know when that starts back up, or has she ruled, or have they started making motions or anything? Do we know?
The chat is saying that Jesse James from the chat saying that Chutkan will have it scheduled by Monday.
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
You bet she will.
She works weekends.
Well, the only thing that was holding her back was the Supreme Court before. She wanted to have it in summers, this month or next month. So
I think she wanted it like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
She was going to schedule it for this summer, because I remember seeing something where she was keeping her schedule open for these 2 months, and she's not going to give him any more time just because he dicked around with the Supreme Court. We're going straight to it, I think.
Do y'all realize that Mershon is going to do sentencing pretty much around the time of the DNC?
Yep.
Yeah.
What would make me feel better as a normal human being is if he's standing on a podium giving a speech somewhere and the body count of judicial decisions are rolling in. I'm not a count. Payback for America. when he's delivering his speech, all of a sudden they got Judge Mershon says, decision upheld, decision upheld, decision upheld, decision upheld, decision upheld, decision upheld. See you Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Tanya
Wait a minute,
Chukin
what?
does the same thing.
Yeah.
Not immune, not immune, not immune, not immune, not immune, not immune, and not immune. See you on Tuesday. Bye. I can wish, right? You know.
Absolutely.
It's an optimistic way to end a Friday evening conversation in the dive bar of democracy.
That's right.
With Donald going to jail for things he's done.
We got any
Yes.
questions from the
Manifest it. I'm
chat?
trying to manifest that.
Delicious.
I'm trying to
Delicious.
manifest that shit for years.
Yeah, what do we got?
Yeah,
God,
I'm
big
like,
group
let's all have
already.
group meditation.
And now I'm like,
Manifest the truth.
Guys, I
Only
apologize.
I can't meditate because I can't shut my brain down. I'm like, oh, I can't
Me
do
neither.
You have to
Like,
focus.
it's not
The
working.
secret is, from somebody who does it quite a bit, is you have to focus on your breathing strictly. The moment that your mind starts to wander away, you have to bring it back to your breathing. That's the trick. That's the trick.
I got one question from the chat here.
Thank you.
Turk, you want to say something first, and then I can go to the question?
Benny just pointed out in chat that he's put the list of the hostages that have been released. Up, there's a link there in the chat.
Thank you, Benny, our great friend from Germany. Him and I are going to be
Yeah,
hanging out
Benny.
soon enough, and he might even be sitting beside me some night during dive bar.
Oh, how
Nice.
fun!
Hell's yeah, that'd be so
Or-
cool.
And hopefully
Yeah,
Benny can come to the States and visit us sometime. We'll show him a good time.
Yeah.
Daisy.
Who's? Yeah. Yep. Yep. I'm sure he's got the
So I
birds
got-
looked after when he does. Come on, Theron.
Those birds
what
are
else you
great.
got?
Okay, so I got Dabsox96 asks if Trump actually dropped Vance, who might he have as backup? Who would actually throw themselves under the couch like that?
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Was he?
joking.
Is he going to go
Hey,
down the Byron
bird.
Donalds, Tim Scott route again?
But if you think about it, what are the criteria, right? The criteria are you abandon everything you've ever said about Trump. You take his salary, and then you say everything Trump wants you to say. There's going to be hundreds of people lining up for that job.
Mm-hmm.
I might be number 99, but you can line up faster.
I think like
And then
if
it's
he
easy
picked
to
Vivek,
destroy 'em.
he would eliminate the Ann Coulter types.
Vix, you're muted.
Vice President Weirdo, that's who I would be.
Vice President
Okay.
Weirdo.
I know who I would pick for the chaos alone. Tucker Carlson.
Ah! This should have been
He's
another discussion
terrible,
topic. Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
such
You're
a
just- dude.
misogynistic asshole. He would bury them, and I would love
Diabolical.
that. And it would be so funny to watch.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
I don't know.
Don't get me started. Mary Poppins is one of
You've
my
got
favorite movies.
If you
That's
actually
gonna be
think
stuck in my
about
head
it,
the
Weird
rest of the night.
Science is Mary Poppins for horny teenagers.
I know.
Mary Poopins.
You're not
Guys,
wrong.
I
Daisy.
think given the strength of your conversation so far
No.
in this hour, we'd probably get enough to go for a midweek broadcast, but that's for
No.
the boss to decide. Mindful.
Day
We've done an hour.
drinking.
Yeah, day drinking with the dive bar.
I
Late
can be part
night,
of that if you vote for me.
late night after party hangs in the dive bar, getting crazy up in here.
Mhm.
Any more questions from the chat?
do 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 do.
At the car
do,
wash,
do.
yeah.
Now's the time.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh,
I'm so
Farley,
glad
This
you
is my
Farley
like
asks-
chair dancing.
I know. It's like-
Farley's wondering who we think Kamala will choose for her VP.
me. She's going to choose
I
me.
don't know.
I'm the guy.
Definitely.
me.
You think so?
I'm the guy. Yep.
I think so.
I don't really know. I don't.
John for
I mean-
VP. That's it. I'm
Yep.
done. I'm locked in.
Hello.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris and Wackadoo John. That's perfect. Got a nice
You
ring
want to
to
say
it.
hello?
Actually, I got one more thing to say.
Oh, go
Derek
for
brought
it.
it up in the chat here, and he's saying like, everybody check your voter registrations.
That's right.
So watching
Damn it.
this,
Check,
go
check,
right
check.
away to
Yeah.
Allison. Is it?
You know, I was gonna
vote411.org?
start to wrap things up, but I think
Yes.
it's really
Vote.org,
important that we start to
or
talk
vote.org.
about all
You
of
can check your
these,
registration as well.
all of
Or
these
the
false
Stop
things that are
Project
popping up
2025
about
link
voter
tree.
registrations.
It has that link.
Yeah, sorry, I
Okay.
didn't mean to talk over
All right.
everybody, but I wanted to point that out. There are some really, really bunk things going around, especially in Texas when it comes to your voter registrations right now.
Yeah.
There's
They're
stories
trying
galore.
to scam you because you can't register online to vote in Texas, but they've got it's fooling people to think that they're getting registered and they're not, because Texas doesn't have online voting. You have to go to the deputy registrar and stuff like that to get it done.
Well, they have it so when
I'm
you click
putting-
submit on there, you think that you're good and register, but what you actually still have to do is you need to print that form out. You need to fill out that form and send it in via snail mail. Everybody
Yeah.
thinks once they hit submit that
I
they're
would
good.
take
That's
it.
not the case. Everybody, if you're listening to this, once you hit submit, that's not the case. You need to
That's
print
not the
out
case, no.
and fill out your
Yeah.
information and send it in properly.
I agree.
In Georgia,
I-
they're pulling some, not nearly as shisty as Texas, but there's definitely a lot of shit that's confusing you. And they still have an old calendar. It's not on their main link, but I found it and I wrote to the Secretary of State's office multiple times, tagged them in social media to tell
Yes.
them that their calendar is obsolete. And at first I thought it was just a mistake because it was I discovered it like last November or whatever. So I'm like, all right, it's still early. And I kept checking it and checking it and checking it, and it's still obsolete. So make sure you're looking at 2024 too, because the battlegrounds, if they're not run by a Democrat,
They're purging.
and I mean by that I mean a Secretary of State is a Democrat, a lot of them are doing really shicey things. And if Brad Raffensperger, if he's doing he's not doing the shiciest things like Texas, but he's still not on our side by any stretch. So
I
know.
would check every week. That's my advice to people: is just check every week to make sure you're still on that roll, because they will
and
do.
this is really important. This is really, really important because this happens to a lot of people, and you don't realize how fucked up it gets. In some states, depending on where you live, it's mostly red states, oddly enough, but other voters can be your voting stats can be challenged by other people in some states. So in Georgia, if somebody looks at my voting data and says, and it let's say I didn't vote the last 4 presidential elections, but all of a sudden I'm registered to vote for 2024, they'll say, I don't believe that person's an actual person. So you'll get sent a notice that your voter bullshit's being challenged. And oftentimes they have an old address, or shit gets lost in the mail. It looks like junk mail. So a lot of people don't even realize they're being challenged. They don't show up to the court date. Nothing happens to you if you don't show up, but you're,
It's
criminally,
modified.
but you get purged from the rolls. So make sure that's not a neurotic thing to be doing, checking every week, because there are people who have nothing better to do than to challenge, look at voting data and find people that they can challenge and pluck off one by one.
Yes, ma'am, you're right, 100%, because not every state has the same draconian rules, but in every state, Republicans could potentially be working every week to get you chopped off that register.
Texas is one of them. Georgia's one of them. Alabama's one of them. Most of the South, anybody can challenge. In most blue states, generally, it has to be somebody an election official that can challenge the legality of somebody's voter registration.
Could be, right? But we know that it isn't going to be.
Which is normal.
Yes.
Any old Joe Schmo looking at voting registration data, like, that's weird. To sit at home and look up
that's
name
weird.
after name, trying to find people. That's weird.
This is all good stuff. And I think the advice is you check, you double check, you check every week.
Keep checking.
Make sure that people don't strike you off, because they will try to do everything on a regular basis, and when they fail, they're going to try again.
Especially if you haven't voted in a while.
Yes.
They'll do that if you haven't voted in the last few elections, and then all of a sudden you're registered to vote. A lot of times they'll purge you, thinking it's whatever. They'll purge you thinking that they can disenfranchise you just because you didn't vote in previous elections.
Don't let them steal your vote. Make sure you're on the register. Make sure you're on the register every week. Double, triple, quadruple check. Right up to the point of election. If you can vote early, do that early voting. Get it out of the way. And stop them from trying to disenfranchise you at every opportunity. The vote is crucial.
And help if you know old people or elderly or immigrants or whoever, like, help them, check for them. Like, you're not going to be seen as weird. Like, that's not weird to help, like, nag your friends to make sure they're registered, and that's not weird.
No, it's
That
pretty
just
dope,
shows-
actually. And shout out to Tony
Yeah,
TB.
you
He's
care.
out in the chat. He couldn't make it tonight, but we wanted to give Tony some love. Same with Derek.
Hey, Derek. We miss y'all.
Hey, Derek.
Feeling
Sorry,
better.
guys.
Hugs and kisses.
Yes. Come back next week.
Did you see the thing?
XOXO.
Did you see what I posted?
The write out.
Did you see what I posted in our chat? Skip.
Go ahead.
The Halloween
you see-
costume.
No.
The write out.
I don't have that open right now.
I say we raid out to Political Punk.
Oh, he's open?
Can you do that?
Good choice.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, gang, thank you so much for hanging out with us for episode 18 of
Bye,
DeMOCKracy.
friends.
It's been so cool hanging out with everybody.
And
And make sure that you check your registration. And make sure that you tune in to the Tony Michaels podcast every single day if you give a good goddamn about your democracy. We're going to defeat Project 2025, and we're going to send these weirdo-ass Republicans packing, son. All right, gang. Until next week, thank you all so much. Later, skaters.
Bye.